After Israel bombed Qatar a few months ago, Qatar is buying brand new fighter jets, and Israel is really worried about this. But not just any fighter jets. According to reports, Qatar has opened secret negotiations with the US to buy American F-35s. And you need to know that reportedly Israel said, quote, they are worried they will lose the military edge in the region. Something worth knowing though, 5 years ago Qatar actually tried to buy the American F-35 fighter jets, but the US rejected their bid, although today something seems different. Although, there is something you shouldn't forget that is arguably way more important, and that's that recently the US announced they're selling F-35 fighter jets to Saudi Arabia, and they're going to be the first country in the Middle East, other than Israel, to get the F-35s. However, because the US wants to make sure that Israel's air force is still the strongest in the Middle East, the US is actually selling Saudi Arabia downgraded versions of the F-35s. And so, because of that, it's totally possible with this F-35 deal with the US that might happen, the US might sell Qatar worse F-35s than Israel has, to continue with the fact that Israel will have the best fighter jets. The reason I say that though is that it's definitely not confirmed. There is another argument, and that's that Qatar is actually more favoured by the US than Israel at the moment. After Israel bombed Qatar a few months ago, the US said, quote, any attack on Qatar is a threat to the peace and security of the United States. And that was the US quite clearly hinting that if Israel tries to attack Qatar again, the US is prepared to attack Israel because they prefer Qatar. So it's also just as possible that the US will give the very advanced F-35s to Qatar as well, to make sure that Israel doesn't have the most advanced air force. Either way, after 5 years of waiting, Qatar does seem now likely to get the F-35s, and it's very possible that the deal will be signed soon. But you can leave me a follow for some more global news like this.